Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa for one of the best days when you can stand up here and see so many bright, shining, young faces. It's great. No criticism of all of the rest of you intended, as far as you know. We have a fun and energetic program for you, as you might expect. So to start us off, we have the pleasure of having our exchange student, Belen, lead us in the invocation and the pledge, and then Chris Pankratz will introduce our visitors. So, Belen, come on up.
Okay. Let us pray. Let us our eyes be open. Let us awake and see the beauty that surrounds us all around. Let us hear the singing birds make their wonderful sound. Let us thank God for our health that has been good to us so far. Let all our dreams come true when wishing upon a star. Let us be thankful for friendship that was lovely given us. Let us forget the caring that was made for us to see. Amen. Now join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What's that step here? Good afternoon, Rotarians. How's everybody today? All right. Because of our large number of guests today, we're going to ask all of the Rotarians who brought guests and their guests to please stand, and let's welcome you all at once. So if you would, please stand. Welcome, welcome, and come back anytime. And then for our visiting Rotarians, if you'd please stand, and we'll give you a welcome Rotarian. Do we have any? Wow, that's a first, I think. Okay, well, welcome Rotarians anyway. Hey, give yourselves a hand. All right.
It's always a special time when we can, what has happened? When we can talk about the IBA Awards, our largest fundraiser and the most fun night of the year for us from the Rotary Club of Tulsa. And today we have a special guest to help us learn more about what's coming up this year in the IBA Awards. It's my pleasure to introduce this year's Master of Ceremonies for the 23rd Annual Henry P. IBA Citizen Athlete Awards, John Holcomb. John plays a pivotal role as sports director of the News on 6 sports team, as you probably all know. He began his career at KOTV in November 1995, and since September 1999, he has anchored the weeknight sportscast for the News on 6 at 5, 6, and 10. You may or may not also know that he co-hosts the Oklahoma Sports Blitz, one of my favorite shows, statewide, along with the Oklahoma City sports director, Dean Blevins, on Sunday nights. During high school season, he's a busy guy. Holcomb also anchors Friday Football Blitz, Tulsa's high school football show. John attended Oklahoma Baptist University in Shawnee, Oklahoma on a basketball scholarship, graduating with a degree in journalism in May of 1988. He has worked in radio, starting in Shawnee, and then began working in TV after that in Texas and in Lawton, etc. And then he finally got to good old Tulsa. Now he's entering his 6th season as the radio color analyst for OSU football and his 4th season as the analyst for OSU men's basketball on the Cowboy Sports Network. He has also done play-by-play work for Cox High School football and basketball broadcasts. He was the Oklahoma Sportscaster of the Year in 2001 and 2002, named so by the National Sportscasters and Sports Writers Association. And you may recall that he was our Master of Ceremonies at the IBA Awards in 2011, and we're really happy to have him back again. Please help me welcome our MC for this year, John Holcomb.
If you watched Channel 6 last night, you see just how pivotal a role I play. And if you're still looking for original programming or the regular programming, it's on digital channel 6.3. I'm not sure that anybody figured that out last night. But glad to see so many survivors. That was for you, Mac and Ed. I come to make an announcement about the IBA Awards, but I also come bringing good news of hope for mankind. Earlier this morning, I had a visit from a young man, teenage young man, who had called me last night to ask me if he could come over to the house and ask me a question. Seeing that I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old daughter, I figured it had something to do with one of them. And I was right. And so he came over today, very well dressed, not overly well dressed, appropriately well dressed for what he was about to ask me. And then I had him sit down. I said, "What's on your mind?" And he very carefully and thoroughly asked me the question, which was basically, "I like hanging out with your daughter. I'd like to hang out with her some more. And could I take her on some group dates?" And I'm telling you, I was not around in the 50s, but I had a flashback to as if I was. And I'm telling you, there's hope for mankind. If there's one out there that'll do that, I just about started crying and say, "Yes, you can marry her." No, wait. So there's hope for mankind. But I'm also here to tell you about the young man who is going to be honored this year at the IBA Awards as the recipient of the Henry P. IBA Citizen Athlete Award. Young man's name is Tyler Lockett, and I can tell you based on a phone conversation I had with him dealing with this that sometimes athletes have had varying degrees of understanding of who Mr. IBA was and what this award is all about. But I can tell you that because he's from here in Tulsa and he's done so well, he knows exactly what he's getting into, and he is very humbled by this opportunity and was very sincere in the phone conversation I had with him. Tyler Lockett was born in Tulsa and graduated from Booker T. Washington High School. He was named to Prep Star Magazine's All-Midlands Region team while he was a first-team All-State and All-Metro selection by the Tulsa World. And in addition to football, he was a top competitor in basketball and track. Comes from a very athletic family, of course. He led the Hornets to a 13-1 record and a win in the 5A state title game during his senior season. He's the son of Kevin Lockett and Nicole Edwards. Kevin, his father, played 7 seasons in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs, Washington Redskins, and the New York Jets. His uncle, Aaron Lockett, played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, San Francisco 49ers, and in the Canadian Football League. Following in his father's and uncle's footsteps, Lockett chose Kansas State. It's okay. Where he was, yeah, go Cats. He was one of the top wide receivers and all-purpose players in school history and was Kansas State's first 4-year All-American. He was one of the just 3 players in school history to earn all conference honors all 4 years. He set 17 school records, including career marks for receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, 100-yard receiving games, kickoff return attempts, trips to hand out food in the stands. You get the idea here. He even topped his father, Kevin, for the school's career receptions, yards, and touchdown records. As a senior, he received all consensus All-America honors, first-team All-Big 12 as both a wide receiver, kick returner, and earned the Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year award for his second straight season. Led the nation in punt return yardage. I mean, this list is long. Trust me here. Tyler Lockett was a really good college player. He also was a Campbell Trophy Senior Class Award finalist and a Biletnikoff Award semifinalist while being named to the Big 12 Scholar Athlete of the Year and a first-team academic All-Big 12 performer. He was drafted with the 5th pick in the 3rd round. 3rd round. Some people missed on him. 69th pick overall of last year's NFL draft. Seattle traded its 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, and 6th round picks to Washington to move up, though, to draft Lockett. He is the 2nd highest player drafted out of Kansas State and only the 4th player drafted out of Kansas State in club history. And during his rookie season with the Seahawks in Seattle, he became the 2nd player in NFL history. The other would be a Hall of Famer, Gale Sayers, with at least 5 receiving touchdowns, a kickoff return touchdown, and a punt return touchdown in a single season. His 51 receptions, 5th most in single-season receptions by a rookie in franchise history. He had 1,915 combined yards. That's the 4th most combined yards in a single season in franchise history and the franchise rookie record. He was the only rookie to be named to the Associated Press All-Pro First Team. He was also voted to be in the Pro Football Writers Association NFL All-Rookie Team, selected at the team at 3 positions: wide receiver, punt returner, and kickoff returner. Off the field, Tyler is busy helping others by visiting children in hospitals, elementary schools, and boys and girls clubs. He often brings underprivileged children to practices. Plus, he has surprised high school football teams by attending their practices to help out. He's currently setting up his own foundation with its mission to make a difference in the lives of others. This summer, he'll host football camps for high school players. Tyler Lockett is our recipient of this year's Henry P. Iba Citizen Athlete Award, and I couldn't think of a more worthy choice. So let's keep the good feelings going. I understand that you have had drawings for a certain gifts, awards, that sort of thing, and I'm told this was based on a drawing, 2 tickets for the joint at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and after the drawing, Sandra Mullins from Final Touch Cleaning gets the 2 tickets. Sandra, congratulations. Thank you for what you do in making the Iba Awards nationally recognized. I'm thrilled to be a part of it again as the MC. I'm really glad they asked me back, which meant that I didn't do such a horrible job 5 years ago. I'm really looking forward to June 27th. Thank you very much.
Well, we've been lucky this month to have special music, and it's still April, and we still have even more special music. So, once again, if you will help me welcome our music evocateur, is that what you are? Yes, there you go. Phil Armstrong to introduce our pianist today.
Evocateur. You actually use that in a sentence. Jeff, you're awesome, buddy. Today, we'll cap off the last 4 or 5 weeks or so of listening to outstanding youth and young people from our community. And I want to, once again, since it'll be the last week that we'll be doing this, I want to acknowledge in the room Sherry Neubauer. She's in the back. If she'll just stand, please, and you'll see her, the red shirt there. Thank you. She's the one that I've been coordinating with all this month, and again, she is heading up a consortium of music educators that really pinpoint and find these talented and gifted students and help them to achieve greater in the fields of music that they're going into. So today, without any further ado, we will hear from Alina Rizhikov, and she is a student of Tatiana Lantos. This is the picture that we had last week. She is the one standing on the left, as we heard last week from Caleb, that's on the right. In the past 5 years, Alina has won several piano competitions and performed at many venues in Oklahoma. Just a couple of weeks ago, as you see in this picture, she won first place in her division, her age division, at the Oklahoma Music Teacher Association, and that is affiliated with the MTNA, which is the Music Teacher National Association. They qualified to go on to the regionals, and then if they win there, she can qualify to go and win nationals and represent Oklahoma in her division. She is a homeschool student. She is 15 years of age, and today she is performing Toccata by Russian composer Prokofiev. And we are indeed blessed to have heard from these students, and we are excited to hear from her today. Fellow Rotarians, please welcome our musician of the day.
Thank you, Alina. That was a heck of a lot of notes. And a few times her hands were literally on both ends of the piano. Personally, I could never play keys I couldn't see, and my eyes wouldn't do that. So when the hands got about this far, I was done. That was fantastic. Thank you very much. We're very glad to have you. All right, we always like to remind our Rotarians about upcoming programs. So for our Phones Out, Take Notes segment, I hope you'll make note of these upcoming programs and other events. Next week, Dave Stewart from Mid-America Industrial Park will be here. He's got a lot to tell us about the local economy, about the difficulty they have in hiring good employees out in his part of the world, and about all the activity of all the different businesses there. So come next week. Then, the big challenge, the off-site meeting at the zoo, May the 18th. So that we can order enough food and have enough seating, there are some sign-up sheets. There will be this week and I think next week. So use those sheets on your tables to let us know that you're going to be able to come to the zoo on May the 18th. Now, if you happen to forget to sign up or whatever, come anyway. It doesn't matter. We're not going to be that strict, but it would be good for us to know if you plan so we can get within the ballpark of having the right number of lunches and seats there for everyone. And a reminder of some future programs. On June the 15th, we will have Pierce Norton, who's the CEO of OneGas. It's always good to have leaders of local businesses, large and small, come here to speak to us, and I'm sure he'll have some enlightening things to say after he gives us his usual SEC disclaimer, which he has to do. And then on June 22nd, we have a really interesting program with R.C. Davis Undiano, who is a professor at OU. Not exactly the kind of speaker we usually have, but this guy is pretty incredible. He never sleeps, obviously. He teaches classes at OU on things like American identity, community problems in America, gender relations in America, and Chicano studies. He's also the executive director of World Literature Today, and he's the host of a TV show called Current Conversations, where he interviews people with national and international recognition. And so he's going to be great at the microphone. He's a professional, he's a professor, and he does TV, so he ought to be great. So mark your calendars and plan to be at those events. A reminder of our committee meetings today. The Long Range Planning Committee will meet in room 233, and the Yearling Service Project, is it Class 2? Class 2 is meeting in room 232. All right, Catherine is here standing in for Alicia. We're so glad you're able to do this and would like for you to talk to us about our sponsors.
Yes, today our sponsor is Carl Vincent, our good friend with Corporate Realty Advisors, and you too can be a sponsor. That's all we have today.
Great. Thank you, Carl, very much. All right. So we've been having fun with commercials this year, and this commercial is about imagination. And with all the young people in the room, it's perfect for me to sit up here and tell you very quickly that one thing that this commercial makes me think of is imagination and how important it is for you young people especially not to be ashamed of or afraid to use your imagination. It adds lots of fun to life, and it'll allow you to think creatively and probably do better in life as a parent, as an employee, etc. So here is a little commercial about a boy who takes a journey. It's just a practical journey to go get something in the store, and it ends up being a great imaginary journey.
There you go, lad.
In the fields and in the streets, we shall never surrender.
son.
Is that you home, love? Yeah.
I thought that was fun. All right, Sarge, substitute Sarge. Second best Sarge there ever was.
Hey, I guess this is your chance. Since I'm the incoming Sarge, you know, you can unseat me before I even start if you choose to do so. So before we start, we're going to play a little game, and in order to participate in the game, anybody can participate, but we're only going to have time to choose like 3 people. So the people who cannot participate in this game are Hannibal Johnson, Paula Wood, or Joseph Bias. So everybody else can participate. So today's Sarge Fine is our handsome Phil Armstrong. His birthday was yesterday. Now, he's making a fine to Rotary, but he'll double that fine if anyone can guess his age within 3 years. Now, you saw him at the podium. Jeff, he looks like he's like 19 years old, doesn't he?
Well, 29 maybe.
Does anybody need to have another look at Phil Armstrong? Stand up. Let's just look at you one more time. Okay, now I'm gonna choose 3 people. You can give me a guess, and if you're within 3 years of having his birthday, his age correct, then he will double his fine. Okay, I'm gonna choose Jamie first because she has just been 48. Okay. Okay, Matt?
37.
And you, sir?
40.
Okay, well, it's a good thing that Jamie knows her men because he turned 45 yesterday. So happy birthday, Phil. And Phil, you can write that check now. That's a double. Okay, so also, let's see what else I have up here in slides. On May the 11th, out in Parker Hall, that's the room that you walk through when you're coming this way, we're going to have sort of, think of it like a career fair, except it's going to be a committee fair. We want you to stop, talk to committee members who are on all of the committees that we've all been serving on all year. Talk to the members, find out which committee fits you, because we need your help for our incoming committees, and that's going to start in July, correct?
Yes.
So we need you to sign up for committees. It's going to be fun. For those of you who have not received an email from Kathy Gorell and me, please look for that because we want you to be there, bring some props, set up your tables, and let's make it a fun way to pass the good news about how much fun we have on these committees. So, with that being said, Sarge Fines, please help Alicia finish strong. This is her number if you have a fine. And also, I kind of failed on my whole sponsorship thing. We're continuing to work hard to make our sponsorships more valuable to you. And so please, if you have ideas on sponsorships, things that you'd like to see for those of you who are doing your best to support Rotary, let us know and we'll try to incorporate some of those things. So you can contact Matt Mortory or Alicia on your ideas for sponsorships. So thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. It's my pleasure now to introduce our Rotarian of the Day, Lynette Potter. Lynette is a senior consultant at Shifting Results. She joined Rotary not too long ago and has most recently, as you all know, chaired our Camp Enterprise Committee for this year. So please help me to welcome to the podium our Rotarian of the Day, Lynette Potter.
Thank you, Jeff. I did wear my highest heels today. Fellow Rotarians, thank you so much for having me here today. You're really going to get a special treat because I'm here to report about Camp Enterprise 2016, but it's from a very different perspective. It's from a very fresh perspective. Because you see, this is my first year of ever attending Camp Enterprise. Yeah. So if you will, I'll point your eyes up to the screen. You're going to see the theme this year was called Unstoppable. And it's such an appropriate theme because our chair, Becky Fields, is the one that gave it the special meaning. Those of you that may or may not know Becky, Becky was diagnosed with cancer in the middle of her term. As a co-chair, she and I discussed this very important piece of Rotary about what do we do with Camp Enterprise. She was so worried. She wasn't worried for herself, if you know her. She was thinking about the project and all of you, not letting you down. So as a good chair does, you step up and you participate fully, and I immediately said, yes, I got your back, Becky. You know, Becky and I met at Rotary, so it was very special that I got to honor her by stepping up and helping her out and being the co-chair. Right now, as we speak, Becky is having her final surgery. And this reconstructive surgery is the last of the surgery. It went very well. The prognosis is excellent. And at 11:30, she started the surgery. So if you could just take 5 seconds to just bless her, I know that she'd really appreciate it. So let's talk about Camp Enterprise, shall we? We had 67 glorious students. They were so awesome, and it was so much fun. And I'm going to tell you a couple of facts about Camp Enterprise that I didn't even know about. So for those of you in the audience that haven't heard this before, Camp Enterprise was born in 1976 at this club, the Club of Tulsa, and it was so successful that it's now spread across the United States in 30 different cities. And to make Camp Enterprise successful, it takes an awful lot of resources. And I'm really grateful to be able to stand up here and praise all the people that helped Camp Enterprise work the way it worked, because it went off very, very smoothly, and we had so much fun. And what I want to do is introduce, I'm going to go through very, very quickly for the sake of time, go through quickly all the people that helped make Camp Enterprise wonderful. And I want you to hold your applause till the very end. First, we have our executive committee. Luann Bollinger, she is in charge of DISC. She helps the kids find out who they are and what they're going to be like to work in a team together. Then we have Eric Ortega. He is invaluable with IT. He makes the computers work. He makes all the background stuff happen without a hitch, even though his hard drive crashed. And then we have Tim Nall. Tim Nall was our facilities manager, and without Tim, the kids would not be fully hydrated and have enough snacks, and I think that the kids will say they got plenty to eat and drink at all times. Then David Callan. David Callan was responsible for getting all these volunteers and counselors together, and he was recruited all this team that you're seeing. Oh, and Brian Bovard, he's my guy. He really mentored me. I could call him at all hours of the day and night. He is responsible for recruiting schools and has done it for years, decades probably. And then Doug, I threatened to put the gorilla picture up there, but he said everybody would be used to this photo. So Doug is the behind-the-scenes guy. He handles all the paperwork, the campers' packets, the mass amount of paperwork and Excel spreadsheets that goes into this. And then, of course, we couldn't do it without our Harvey. Harvey is a passion with J.A. Titan. He is the soul of camp. When he gets up to teach with these kids, he connects immediately and they connect with him. Without Harvey, the kids would not learn near as proficiently as they do. And then we have all of the people that you're seeing here. And you'll notice that there's an asterisk beside their name. These are counselors and volunteers. I want a special shout out to my husband, who was my support all through this, as well as a counselor. And we even have more pages here of volunteers and counselors. The counselors help the teams. Yeah. Then I couldn't go without telling you about the committee that helped the executives put all of this together, and they were behind the scenes doing things, recruiting and marketing. It was just phenomenal. And of course, that's time. Those are our time resources, everyone's volunteers and their time. But we also had to have monetary resources. And of course, I want to thank the primary underwriter, our Tulsa Foundation. And I want to give a special shout out to Kurt Hayes. He obtained the Walton Family Foundation donation for $8,500. Without that, we would have not had the camp that we had. Junior Achievement always comes through with the computer models. They do that for free and donations to us. We want to thank Texas Roadhouse, 135 steaks, and they actually train people how to cook the steaks to perfection. It was delicious. And then last but not least, and maybe a little known fact that many of you might not know, J.D. Young provides 3 printers that we haul up there, and we're printing these reports every single round. Without these printers, we would not have a camp. So it's really, really awesome. If I could get you a really big round of applause for all of these people. Go ahead. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very, 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 very much. Now, the best that I could do to put you out in Camp Enterprise, that experience, is to show a video. So here's a little video. Enjoy.
Social media isn't in the newspaper. We have one group that's back there that would work. Jake, do you read the newspaper much?
I had to slow down that hand thing because I just didn't get it. So next, we're going to talk about the teams. And normally, Harvey Rowe is up here talking about them. However, he is with his wife participating in a funeral. Her mother passed, and so he needed to be there today. And again, once again, we have some firsts from the first perspective, because frankly, Harvey knows this stuff really well. So let me then put up on the screen, these are the 8 teams as their standings of the last count of the program. And I want all the presidents to please stand when I call your name. So we have Titan Pro, Michael Stevens. Give him a big hand. Second place, thank you, Michael. Second place, Argents, Gavin McReynolds. Gavin, I know you're here. Where are you? And Virtue for You, Blaine Sawyer. Keep on clapping. They may not be here, but they'll appreciate it. Biotech, Michaela Steffel. Is she here? There we go. There she is, back in the back. Excellent. Halogen, Jose Alcalsor, like Alka-Seltzer. Give him a hand. And Rota Alpha, Y Quan. Did she make it? Give her a hand. Come on, big round. KiwiCo, Seth Long. Is he here? Give him a round of applause. And Synergy, and that would be Camp Crowder. Is she here? Campion. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, can I just have really quick all the campers rise? Come on, stand up. Give them a round. Give them a round. All their families rise. All their families rise. Their families. Give them a round. Yes. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. And Harvey would want me to do this. Our next presenter is going to be Eric. Eric is behind the scenes with Harvey. He is Eric's right-hand man. And I don't know if you know this or not, but last year he even mentioned he helps Harvey run his iPhone. So there's some big shoes to fill, but this was Eric's last year. And so I want to let Eric have the stage, and he's going to present some of the aspects that he thought that he really enjoyed. So, Eric?
Hello. I am like Jeff. I think imagination is a very powerful tool. Whatever you can imagine, you can achieve. In the 1800s was Julius Verne imagining submarine trips, trips around the world, trips to the moon, TV newscasts, etc. In the 70s, we have a Star Trek and imagining the holodeck. Here in Camp Enterprise, with the Junior Achieving Titan program, we have been imagining producing the hologenerator in 2035. I found very interesting to show you that already happened. So I'm going to introduce you to the introduction of Microsoft of the HoloLens. Show the clip, please.
Thousands of years from now, we'll look back at the first century of computing as a fascinating but very peculiar time. The only time in history where humans were reduced to live in 2D space, interacting with technology as if we were machines. A singular 100-year period in the vastness of time where humans communicated, were entertained, and managed their lives from behind a screen. Today, we spend most of our time tapping, and looking at screens? What happened to interacting with each other? This is the next step in the evolution. This is Microsoft HoloLens, the first fully untethered holographic computer. Devices like this will bring 3D holographic content right into our world, enhancing the way we experience life beyond our ordinary range of perceptions. Now, I'm not thinking about a distant future. I'm talking about today. We are already seeing car companies like Volvo designing cars differently with HoloLens. Universities like Case Western redefining the way medical students learn. And my personal favorite, NASA is using HoloLens to let scientists explore planets holographically. Put it this way, temporally adjusted, we're like cave people in computer terms. We barely discovered charcoal and started drawing the first stick figures in our cave. Now, this is the perspective I apply to my work every single day. And now for the next few minutes, I invite all of you to apply the same perspective to the journey ahead of us. Now, as I put this HoloLens on, let me explain the setup a little bit. It's probably the most risky demo we have ever done on any stage with HoloLens, and I can't think of a better place to do it than here at TED. Momentarily, I'm going to be seeing holograms right on this stage, just as clearly as I can see all of you. Now, at the same time, we have also this special camera that just walked in on stage, so that all of you can share in this experience with me up on all the monitors. So let's start our journey. And what better place to begin our journey than in the computer cave of 2D? Let's explore the world all around us with this new lens and understand the computer world from a brand new perspective. But I believe our children's children will grow up in a world devoid of 2D technology. And it's remarkable to dream of this world, a world where technology truly understands us, where we live, work, and communicate with tools that enhance the human experience, not machines that limit our humanity. Less than half a century ago, two courageous men landed on the moon, using computers that were less powerful than the phones in your pockets. 600 million humans watched them on grainy black and white televisions. And the world was mesmerized. Now imagine how our children and their children will experience the continued exploration of space with technology that understands this world. We already live in a world where real-time universal translators exist. And I can squint, and I can already see holographic telepresence in our near future. In fact, since we've been lucky with our demo so far, let's try doing something else even more crazy. I invite you to experience, for the first time anywhere in the world, here on the TED stage, a real-life holographic teleportation between me and my friend, Dr. Jeffrey Norris, from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Fingers crossed. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Alex.
Whew, that worked. How are you doing today, Jeff?
Doing great. I've had an awesome week.
So can you tell us a little bit, Jeff, about where you are?
Well, I'm actually in 3 places. I'm standing in a room across the street, while I'm standing on this stage with you, while I'm standing on Mars, 100 million miles away.
Wow, 100 million miles away. This is crazy. Can you tell us a little bit more about where all this data from Mars is coming from?
Absolutely. This is a precise holographic replica of Mars, built from data captured by the Curiosity Mars rover that I can explore as easily as a place on Earth. Humans are natural explorers. We can instantly understand an environment just by being present in it. We've built tools like our Mars rover to extend our vision and lengthen our reach, but for decades, we've explored from a seat behind screens and keyboards. Now, we're leaping over all of that, over the giant antennas and the relay satellites and the vastness between worlds, to take our first steps on this landscape as if we were truly there.
Thank you, Eric. So that is the hologram that J.A. Titan has been selling for a decade or more, come to real life, come to fruition. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce you. What you've really been waiting for is to hear from the campers. Michael Stevens, he was our #1 president, CEO. Go ahead and grab your mic. And you can have a seat. You can have a seat however you feel, whatever you feel comfortable. So Michael wrote a speech, and I read it last night, and I was just in awe. I want to read you the very first paragraph that he wrote. It's amazing how different people can be in different environments. At school, I'm an okay student, smart but not committed. I'm trusted, but also a bit of a troublemaker. I'm always coming up with ideas, but rarely am I given the opportunity to carry them through. I am not a popular person, I'm not a leader, but Camp Enterprise let me be that way. I just love that. Sorry. So now I'm going to ask you some questions, Michael. You had a strategy, a really specific strategy. Can you tell us about that from your beginning?
Okay, from the beginning, I thought I wanted to be a CEO. I'd heard a little bit about the program and what it meant to be in it, and I knew I wanted to lead. I knew this was an opportunity I could take a hold of and just go with. So from the beginning, I was working with each individual group member. I made it a point to talk to each one by themselves while we're doing the group games. They may have been fun time for everyone else, but for me, they're a time to get to know how everyone worked.
Excellent, thank you. So talk to me a little bit about working with your team and what that did for you and how that was all working.
Okay, working with the team was really great. I was fortunate to have a team that would work with me. I heard a lot from other teams that they're having problems within the team, arguments, yelling, whereas in my team, it was really nice. We didn't have that, which was surprising.
Yeah, you did a great job. Next, describe to me the feelings that when your team was like down at the very first day, weren't they at 7th place?
Yes, ma'am, they were.
So tell me about that and your experience and how you were really questioning yourself.
Okay, I was questioning myself because we had dropped down to 7th, and they had elected me over 2 other leaders because I had made a good impression on all of them, but I was starting to doubt, was I the right person for the job? But then as we rose to 4th, then to 2nd, then to 1st, I realized, and the team realized, that yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Got your back, didn't they? Finally, tell us, what did you walk away with at Camp Enterprise?
I walked away knowing that if given the opportunity, I could lead. And I learned that I was actually pretty good at business. I had been thinking for a long time of becoming a lawyer, going to law school, but Camp Enterprise turned that 180 degrees. I'm now looking at going into business school and learning to do what I did at Camp Enterprise on a larger scale.
Wow. Thank you, Michael. Now, Bailyn Portugal is, in case you don't know her, she's our foreign exchange student. Go ahead and grab the mic, Bailyn. So tell me, what initially did you think when you got to the parking lot and you're looking around, with all these new people, and then you hopped on the bus and then you got to camp? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so I was kind of nervous actually, but I was also like really excited because, as you all know, I love learning, and I knew that I was gonna learn a bunch of things, and also there was a lot of people, a lot of new people, and I was excited to meet all of them, and also I'm glad I got to see the other exchange students that also went.
Yeah, that was great. And then she's from Spain. So what will you take all the way from little old Tulsa, Oklahoma, back to Spain?
Well, I learned a lot of things, but the one I like the most is like the teamwork, the fact that we all, like we were in a team and we had to run a business together. So we all said like our opinions and, like work together and run the business.
Yes, your voice was heard. Yes. So tell me, what did you like the best?
Well, I loved everything, but I think the thing I like the most is all our speakers we had. I think it was really interesting to hear like their stories and all they had to tell us. It was really interesting.
Very good. And I couldn't tell you how much that I appreciated the speakers. I couldn't possibly tell you, put in this one short amount of time, what all we had at that camp. So, as you heard, we're going to have a fair in a couple of weeks. What is the final word, Balin? Would you tell those in the audience that have never been to camp, what would you tell them to get them into action to really go sign up as a volunteer and a counselor?
Well, I'll tell you guys that it's a great opportunity to learn, and I don't know, we're unstoppable, so, go for it.
Very good, thank you. Michael, pick that up. One more question, really quick. What words of encouragement would you tell someone out in the audience to go sign up?
Well, this really made a huge impact on my life. As I said before, it turned me 180 degrees on what I wanted to do with my life. It was just an amazing experience, and I thank every one of you who helped it out because it was great.
Thank you. Give him a big round of applause. Now, I know we're pressed on time, but one more surprise announcement. The new chair. The new chair is Tom Wolf. Give him a big hand. He's going to do a great job. Take it away, Tom.
Thank you, Lynette. I cannot tell you how much gratified I was to have an opportunity to be at Camp Enterprise this year. It's been a little over 10 years ago that I owned a private school, and one of my most gratifying things was to see that spark and that passion for learning new concepts. And it was amazing over just the first few hours of that very first day, you see that kind of getting used to everything, and all of a sudden the lights start to come on and you see that passion for learning and the joy that comes in learning these new concepts. And I'd love to appreciate the comments from our students that spoke today. What a great opportunity. So I'm honored to be this upcoming year's chairman, and I certainly encourage you to consider this as one of the amazing things because it's one of the best things that our Rotary Club of Tulsa has. And thank you for this time.
Thank you, Tom. We're looking forward to it. One final word before I turn it back over to Jeff. So what did I get out of the camp? What I got out of this camp was seeing two generations bridge a gap, coming together with one goal. The campers loved coming into our world today. Well, guess what? We loved going into their world in those 4 days. It revitalizes us, it changes us, it absolutely calls forth a combined spirit, and it's bridging the gap between two generations. For that, Jeff, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Lynette. I can tell you for sure you did not disappoint today. But my only disappointment is we got one less good lawyer coming in. Or maybe I should be happy about that. I don't know which. A book recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in education school like every week, and the book this week is Kids Slam Dunk. So on the way out, I encourage you to thank the volunteers who made the day possible today, and maybe even another special thank you for those that you saw who stood, who were counselors or otherwise participated in Camp Enterprise. And don't forget our upcoming meetings, and go tell your friends and family and colleagues about how your club made a big difference in the life of 67 young people at Camp Enterprise. We're adjourned.